This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Jessica Luther from Alpena County Library. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning, Nancy.
Now I can officially say Assistant Director at Alpena County Library. Congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm very excited to take on the new role.
Well, you know, as we were talking before we started taping about, getting new blood and young blood and the different organizations in our town, breathes a breath of fresh air, because I think of Tanya Spence, who came from Minnesota to Alpena. She's got two major fundraisers that she does. She does two for the hospital, then she does the Real Fun Ice Fishing Tournament. She brought that with her, which has raised over $100,000 in our community. Just a new person to town, somebody new, just wanted to try some different things. So you're newer to the area, and I know you've come up with a lot of innovative ideas, and I'm really excited you're going to be in that position.
Well, thank you, Nancy. I'm very excited about what the future holds.
Yay! And you have brought some things to talk about today.
Yes, in the not so distant future. Tomorrow, the Friends of the Alpena Library will be holding the wrapping of their annual Blizzard of Books. And it's such a wonderful tradition for them every year. They gather all of those new books for the kids, and they wrap them and put them in gorgeous wrapping paper and ribbons and everything, and give them to the Salvation Army for them to distribute. And it's so lovely to see them giving back every single year. So if anyone is interested in helping them, they will be at the library tomorrow, December 11th at 11 a.m. until 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And we received some exciting news last week. The Native Voices exhibit that we have had at the library will actually be staying with us into the middle of January.
Great.
We've had a great response having it there, and every day I walk by, there's someone there with the headphones on and watching the videos. So we're really thrilled that the American Library Association has asked us to keep it for a little while longer.
Well, that speaks to the wonderful association that you have with all of those groups.
Yeah, we had a lot of great programming affiliated with it, and we're just excited to, again, bring new things into the library, things that they wouldn't expect. We've had a lot of people walk in and like, what is this thing? And then they're there at the library for 2 hours, just engrossed in all of the stuff. And another thing, we've got just a reminder, we're kind of at this time of year where we're planning the next year, so it looks like we're slowing down, but we're not. We're just kind of taking inventory of stock of all of the resources we have, and just a reminder to people out there who might be looking for grants for individuals or an organization that they're a part of. The library does offer resources for people. We have Foundation Center available online and through our website, and we have that thanks to the Besser Foundation for the past, seems like 1.5 million years, has been providing us with these great nonprofit resources that are free for the public to use. And our reference staff is always happy to help people if they have questions or things like that. And in addition to that, we have Art in the Loft. They're a Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs mini granting agency. And so they are coming to the library this coming Thursday, the 14th at noon. And they will be heading up a mini grant workshop, which, a lot of times people see these grants and they don't quite know what they're doing with them. So they will be there to help walk people through the process of applying for a grant, answering questions, giving them tips, and how to make a compelling argument for what your project is. And so we're really excited that they're bringing that into the library. It really melds with what we're trying to do in terms of offering free resources.
Okay.
And also a reminder, we have the Northeast Michigan Oral History Directory, and we are always looking for local musicians or family members of local musicians who may not be with us anymore, who might have recordings or just stories to tell. Our special collections they're always looking to add to that archive. We receive funding from the National Endowment for the Humanities to put that together, and it's open and available to anyone who wants to listen to the stories. There's a bunch of recordings on there. There's photographs. It's just really an amazing archive.
Well, Alpena has a rich history of musicians.
It does. When we moved up here, I was just astounded by how prevalent the music scene was up here.
It is. It's very much so.
Yes. So in addition to that, other things, we're planning a lot of things right now. So we have the Alpena Book Festival. We've already started planning for 2018. So anyone who might be interested in helping out with that is welcome to call the library, or Blue Phoenix Books or Olivet Book and Gift, and get on the mailing list, and we will be happy to have you aboard. And really, we're just very excited to be heading into a new year. We've got a lot of things planned. We've got some new children's programming, some new science programming. We're looking to do a music series, and and everyone I know looked forward to authors in the fall, but this year we're going to be doing authors in the spring. So so everyone needs to stay tuned for that.
And when I gave my little talk the other night, and I listened to everything, and our next guest, Chris, is coming, and I listened to everything. And people say there's nothing to do. It's like, how can you say there's nothing to do? You have to think and pick and choose. There are so many things to do in this community, and a lot of arts and cultural things to do, rather than just, music and, the normal stuff. But there's so many things to do. And I know that's something that you focus on. And as I said, you bring people into your library and into this community that large metropolitan areas wish they could get.
No, and it's probably one of the most enjoyable parts of my job, and I think we're really going to be focusing a lot more on our community collaborations within the city, within the county, and even regionally. Just last week we had WCMU Public Media was at the library, and they did a free pre-screening of season 2 of Victoria on Masterpiece Theater, and to have a statewide organization who comes to our library and wants to share their programming and get people interested in their stuff, and using us as the conduit to connect with more people, I think is really important for what we do.
And there are so many wonderful collaborations. Everyone, don't feel like you're stepping on each other's toes, and everyone shares and collaborates. What a wonderful thing to sit back and watch all those wonderful things happen in our community based on collaborations.
Yes, and it's fantastic. And, as they say, a rising tide raises all ships.
That's true.
It's very important that everyone works together, and I've just had great experiences working with every organization in this town.
Good. Well, once again, congratulations on your promotion, and please say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone, and I look forward to talking with you next year.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be right back with Christine Wotulski following these messages. Hi, welcome back. My last guest today is Christine Wotulski from Besser Museum. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Nancy.
Hey, I have to tell you, I went there Monday night. I was guest speaker for for League of Women Voters.
Yep.
And I did a little talk, and I'm one of those people that goes to the library, runs into the gift shop, buys something, runs out.
Or to the museum.
Oh, I meant to say the museum.
Yeah.
Runs in, runs out, does a few things, stop by to talk to you on occasion. But I've never gone through everything, and I was amazed. The Christmas trees, the Christmas lights, the history was so wonderful. I was walking with a group of ladies. I only really knew one of them. I didn't know the other ladies, and by the end of the walk, I felt like we were friends. And the one lady said, I go to the Metropolitan Museum every year in New York City, and I've never been to this museum, and I live here. This is crazy. I can't believe it. And she said, it's easier to park, easier to get there, and it's just as nice, and I don't have to spend all that money.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. Our exhibits are beautiful this year, and we do host private parties, and it is the one time that many of our local citizens take advantage of the museum and say, why don't I do this more often?
Yes.
And that sharing stories as you go through about either your Christmas past or walking through the village, and sharing stories about that, does create a bond. I see it all the time. I get so excited because I'm at the receiving end of hearing some of the most wonderful stories.
I was a little uncomfortable because I didn't really, I knew several people, but to be the guest speaker kind of puts you on focus, which I don't like. But those ladies, by the time I got back, I was ready to go, and it was just wonderful.
Oh, I'm so glad you got a chance to tour. I know we have a couple more private parties coming up, and if people are interested in using the museum or renting the museum, I should say, especially during the holiday season, we've done all the work for you.
Yes.
I mean, it's beautiful. You want to come in. The other thing that we've done to accommodate people this season is change our planetarium schedule. So we have changed it up, and I should say Tad, our new planetarium coordinator, has changed it up to include Sundays. So one of the things when I first started at the museum, I heard stories about people saying, I remember coming on Sunday, and when are you going to have a Sunday show? And so as things change up in the winter season, we are going to be open now, and I'm going to look at his schedule, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 shows, 12 and 2 p.m.
Oh.
Saturday, There are shows at 12, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Wow.
So 5 opportunities to see the planetarium on Saturday. And then Sundays, it will be 1, 2, and 3.
That's terrific, Chris.
And there's
Thank you.
different shows, different topics each show. So go onto our website, bessermuseum.org,
Okay.
and click on the schedule for the planetarium, and all the information is there. So it's really nice to be able to
Well,
open it
great
more to the
family
public.
time. Sunday's family time, so that would be perfect.
Right, and talk about family time. We have our 2 more programs for Full Steam Ahead.
Okay.
So that was funded through Alpena County Youth and Rec.
Okay.
And they are free family fun days.
Okay.
And Kat Tomaszewski and Tad work together on these programs with the help of volunteers. And I would say that Kat really takes the lead on developing the themes and the ideas.
Shocking.
And I know she's such a treasure.
She is.
And this theme is forensic scientist for the Decembers. So she is teamed up with, she's actually been going to the class at Alpena Community College to learn more about forensic science. And she's working with the Alpena Community College, Alpena County Sheriff's Department, Alpena Police Department, Michigan State Police Crime Lab. We'll all be helping her out to do this hands-on learning, fingerprinting, footprint casting, whodunit scene. So using all of those critical thinking skills and investigation skills that can be transferred into almost any walk of life are going to be taught the last 2 Full Steam Ahead. So the one will have just happened when this airs.
Okay.
But then the next one is coming up in December. I don't have the date right off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Go to our website.
Yes.
It's on our website and it's free. So it's really fun that we can host these events for free thanks to the Alpena County Youth and Rec.
You know, when we were talking with our first guest about the collaborations, I mean, you're a master at collaborations. When I think of the Heritage Route, the US 23, all the different things that you participate in and collaborate with, and it gets new people to the museum.
Yes. We live in an amazing community that have, like you say, so many great organizations, and pooling those resources together benefit each organization individually, but the community at whole.
Yes.
So it is really exciting, and there's always something going on. So that is a benefit to the community also. One of the things that talk about collaboration in our Christmas exhibit is our community trees from the nonprofit organizations. We would not be able to fill the museum with Christmas without the help of, we have 14 nonprofit organizations participating. And so I just want to invite people to come in and look at their trees, find out what they provide to the community all year long.
Yes.
They have brochures that you can take. Some of them even have donation buckets that you can leave a donation for them. So that's part of our Christmas exhibit. And also, I want to mention one more time, too, about our Winter Blues non-juried art exhibit. So our non-juried art exhibit, The Best Foot, was very successful. People liked being able to enter their artwork and know that it wasn't going to be juried. And so we decided this time of year, what are you doing all winter? When the weather is not very nice.
Yes.
And get out and start creating. And it's like, let the winter blues be your muse. And it's information is on our website, but the entries are going to be due January 22nd through January 29th.
And you know, a word about that too, as I was walking around, I saw all of those and it was amazing. I'm on a board with Robert Gerhusky. I had no idea he was such a spectacular photographer.
Yeah.
His pictures, it was like I was standing right there, and my neighbors and friends that I had no idea, they have entries. I was amazed at the amount of talent and artwork that's in our community.
Yes, and this is a way for them to have a public platform and kind of get their work out there. You know, we will return to our juried, and a lot of people participate in that, but one of the things with the juried is a professional artist will say what makes it in and what doesn't make it in. Whereas a non-juried, there's still a few regulations. This one, of course, it has to be 2 by 2, and 60% in the blue hues. But for the most part, you know, we had that collage, I don't know if you saw, where they
Yes.
collected all of the plastic garbage
I
along the shores of
know.
Lake Huron.
I know.
And made a real fun, whimsical piece.
They did. It
That
made me
would not-
sad, but it
yeah.
was.
It was a message, very
It
much
was.
so.
It was a message.
So, and she was excited because that probably wouldn't have passed a juried
Right,
art
and there were
show.
some other like torn and ripped things and all put together, and it was just spectacular.
I think that was mine.
Was that yours? Okay.
The
I know
Clark.
yours were very good, but I just couldn't believe
Yeah.
the different mediums, the different things that people used in their thought process, and it was like,
Yeah.
in fact, I would hear people that were looking, wow, she goes to my church, I had no idea. So, you know, we need to get in there more often
Yeah.
and see what's going on in our community.
Yeah. Well, and like you were saying, the lady that goes to the Met every year and comes back to Alpena and says, this is here, and it doesn't cost as much.
Right?
You know, it's $5 for adults, $3 for seniors, $3 for children. You know, our planetarium
Right.
shows are only $5 a seat, and it just is amazing. And I just want to give a shout out on Giving Tuesday, Nancy.
Oh, my goodness.
What a generous community.
Well, I saw 120 on the sign, now it's up to 128.
Wow, in Besser Museum, we raised enough to get our program and another, so our library, our digital library is being launched. And so
Wow.
there are going to be exciting features that we'll be able to put on the full dome. So thank you to such a generous community
Yes.
that supports just the Besser Museum, but so many other great things.
In one day, imagine raising $128,000 in your community. All right, we're out of time. Thank you so much. And once again, tell everyone thank you for a wonderful year of all the wonderful things they provide to our community, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College, and I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Matt Southwell, ACC Marine Tech grad, and David Cummins, ACC Marine Tech instructor. Now, Matt has recently been on an adventure of a lifetime, I would have to say. So he was aboard a research vessel that spent some time up in the Arctic. Matt, just tell the viewers a little bit about it. It's a great story.
Yeah, I was through MATE, which is the foundation that oddly enough has told me that Dave's Marine Tech program is one of the few programs that's actually placed an intern, a paid intern, on a vessel 4 years in a row. Very small program, but obviously a quality one.
Yeah,
and I was
wonderful.
lucky enough to be the MATE intern this year, and I was placed on the USCGC Healy, which is the largest icebreaker and the largest ship in the Coast Guard. It's a 500-foot long, 100-foot beam behemoth of a boat. It is a large, large vessel, and it patrols the Arctic for the Coast Guard, and it's actually all of its labs are farmed out to different research entities, usually collegiate, often being Woods Hole. I was fortunate enough to be on there with Woods Hole and Scripps people, as well as a few people from UCSD, I believe, as well.
What were you doing up there?
A lot of stuff. First day, we were fixing something that went wrong immediately. We had an alarm like the second we hit the Bering Sea. But basically, the techs are there to monitor all the underway instrumentation. I was very fortunate to get trained up on multi-beam sonar and echo sounder, the Knudsen echo sounder. But mostly, I was in charge of an item called a CTD, which is probably why I was given that position, because I built one for Dave's class last year because I wanted to learn more about them. CTD stands for conductivity, temperature, depth, and it's a sensor array. And I was in charge of all those casts, and I got to learn the software better and all that. So that was a daily thing, as well as like just launching any probes, or like I said, if something went wrong, I was on there with 3 other techs, so we hop to and go figure out what's going on. They're there to troubleshoot anything and everything. So.
I bet you learned a lot.
Oh man, it's impossible to almost articulate because it's so intensive. Because you do a 12-hour watch. I generally worked 14 to 16 because you're on a boat. There's nothing more to do. You can eat and sleep, and there's gym on the Healy and stuff. But I obviously not working in the gym. But yeah, so you're there constantly hands-on, intense with 3 people who I consider just absolute rock star techs, very experienced. Techs who've been all over the world in all kinds of different situations, and it was the coolest thing was to watch their different ways that each individual had of troubleshooting, of problem solving. Because like Liz, one of them was more of I'm going to dive into the manual and find out what's wrong, where Mike started just unplugging things. See if that works. Wiggle that.
Yeah.
So it's 2 different methods, and I hopefully can come up with a hybrid of those 2 myself for my
Sure.
method. I don't know.
What were some of the things? Well, I saw you presented at our board meeting. It was a remarkable presentation. We appreciated it. Sure. And some of the slides you showed were just unbelievable, beautiful. Tell us, like the polar bears, for instance.
Oh, yeah. Well, it woke the whole boat up. Well, anyone who wasn't on night watch, because they literally piped it through the ship. I mean, you just heard the alarm go, and then it was now, 2 polar bear off the port beam, 2 polar bear off the port beam, and everybody just ran out there. And there was a mother and her cub, and we'd obviously just served breakfast, so they must have winded the food or whatever, and they were so close to the boat. I mean, I've never seen a polar bear even in a zoo before, let alone right up next to the vessel. And of course, everyone's just snapping pictures, and unfortunately, all that elation and coolness was sort of soured when we realized how far out we were. We were 250 miles from any land and about 150 still off the ice pack. So they were in trouble. Polar bears can swim quite a ways, but we sort of estimated they gave the cub a pretty slim chance of making it. The mother might have, depending on if they found anything to eat. So that sort of soured it. But it was beautiful to see. It's a magical place. Really. Yeah. The walruses, I had the living bejesus scared out of me by a walrus just surfacing, blowing out of the water out of nowhere, and I was like, ah! And the gentleman from the Coast Guard said, well, they don't actually announce themselves, and I'm like, yeah, I suppose not. But it was the size of a house. I've never seen anything like that either. I mean, goodness, the auroras, the whales, just the bioluminescent glowing jellyfish at night. What can you say? It's just an incredible place to go, especially if you've never been there before.
So David, jump in here. This has got to make you feel proud as an instructor to have a student do what Matt has done.
Yeah, it is just, I think, a great compliment to what we're doing here at ACC. As Matt said, 4 years in a row, have students go on May internships. Most of them end up with some sort of offer opportunities afterwards.
And John's working down for the Pelican right now. Ken was offered it, did work on the Pelican, but he came back to finish.
Yeah.
So, and Andrew ended up going to Oceaneering. So, every year.
Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest delight, I remember when you came to my office the first time asking about the program, almost scared to even dream that it could be possible.
Because I'm a little longer in the tooth than your average. I'm a non-traditional student. That's the word we like to use for me. So, and I said, I think I'm a little too old for this, and Dave showed me a video and said, I don't think so. I just did the Oceaneering training, and a lot of the guys are your age, and so I was like, well, that does it. I'm doing that. That's what I want to do. So, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been amazing. It's an amazing program. And to tell you the truth, when I got on Healy, interns are usually given projects, and I was given better projects because my mentor immediately said, well, you're obviously a little better trained than a lot of we normally get biology students and stuff, so I'm not going to make you do like inventory or stuff. I'm going to give you a good project. And I was given this flood alarm project that I did, which was actually pretty amazing. And they put it on you. It's like, here, if you get in trouble, come and get me, but otherwise make it work.
Yeah.
And that's real life stuff, You can't beat that.
And I hear maybe this summer you're angling to get down to the bottom part of the world.
That'll start in probably February or maybe March. My mentor did 3 tours on the Palmer, which is the Antarctic icebreaker, and he's pushing very hard to get me on one of the 7 cruises on that. So I don't know. Apparently, I'm just destined for snow. Growing up in Alpena, my snowblower isn't even fixed right now. I want to talk to you about borrowing some wrenches, but anyway, I'm destined to be snowbound, I guess. I did interview immediately after the Healy for a job in Bermuda, which everyone's like, going from the Arctic to Bermuda, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's not bad, is it? But I didn't get that opportunity, but the Antarctic ones, apparently I'm bound to be snowbound. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
David, we got about 20 seconds left. Your thoughts as you hear Matt's story and you see?
I think it's, to me, just very rewarding to see these students come in with a dream that you're almost scared to dream, and now live the realities of it and realize you can be on the other side of the TV screen doing the work that others are watching.
Wonderful. That's a great story. Matt, thanks for sharing it. David, thanks
for
orchestrating it in your way. And thank you folks for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.